Hello indie game fan, I wanted to round off June with some new indie games that you can play right now, where we do have quite a number of interesting co-op and multiplayer titles coming up in this video. Special mention does go to the very not indie SCARLET NEXUS, one of the occasional AAA games that got my attention, where it combines stylish action with the relationships and supporting cast of something like a Mass Effect, all with a very anime vibe. Let's begin with Geometry Arena, a very simple looking game, but don't let looks fool you. This is an intense action roguelite that is not to be missed. Insane particle effects aside, it does look to be, at least in part, inspired by Geometry Wars to some degree with the simple geometric shapes, but add in a dash of Nova Drift with the roguelite upgrades and you get a compelling and challenging experience. This reached version 1.0 after 15 months in early access, making it a no-brainer if you have not gotten this.
My queen, why did you leave me? And why did you take all of my gold?
Sire,
Ludwig, do they know?
they know, my lord. They know you are poor.
Oh no! Ludwig, what do we do now?
Well, sire, I have a solution. War. All you have to do is sign this.
Alright. We will build an army. We will go to war. We will dominate them and take their gold.
Royal Age Battle of Kings is an interesting entry since it combines auto chess with Battle Royale and chess, where you build an army of units and wander the map, getting into fights with other armies. As always, the concern with multiplayer focused indies is player population, but an interesting idea nonetheless. I mentioned 4 deck builder titles in yesterday's video, where another one to join the pile is Breach Wanderers. From the look and UI, it does look to be following in the footsteps of Slay the Spire, but where the main energy used per round, known as mana here, are in larger quantities, which means a larger number of cards that you can play per round. There are 5 playable characters which are different enough from each other, but does look to be a fairly standard entry in the space. Among the hustle and bustle of E3 season were a number of surprise releases, the first of which is the trippy Ynglet. It's an exploration title where you control a little microscopic creature thing, moving from bubbles floating in the sky like some sorts of space dolphin, where the vibe of this does remind me of Pixel Junk Eden. The hand-drawn art is very good, very minimalist but it works, where one of the key features touted is the dynamic soundtrack which changes in accordance to your inputs. Very chill and trippy, making it one to relax with. Speaking of relaxing, I love the look of Clawfish, a first-person title where you're at a train station that just so happens to have a fishing arcade claw machine. It's an adorable, short little title where the developer straight up says that it's less than an hour, but there are many worse ways to spend $3 as compared to this chill game. This next title is one which I identified with, since Hot Pot for one tells a story of an international student who is alone on Christmas Eve, having to cook up a comforting meal that's usually meant to be enjoyed with friends and family, but it's all for yourself in this case. While thankfully, I never felt that kind of loneliness, I can certainly understand how tough it can be to feel so alone in a foreign country, where the comforts of familiar food will soothe your soul. Not too mechanically dense, but an interesting, shorter first-person experience. A hidden gem that launched out of early access last month is Spellcaster University, a management sim where you're building your own magic academy. It's one part base builder and one part adventure game, where there are various choices that you have to make that will affect the outcome. You can run your academy attuned with nature, nurturing the next generation of druids and shamans, or run a dark magic academy that produces necromancers, where there are external factions like invading orcs, a mysterious dark lord, the magic ministry and more, where the game does propose a different experience every time. It has a good number of reviews so far and a great rating on Steam, so certainly add this to your watch list. Ever so often, I come across a game that I have no idea how it can be that good, where Cruelty Squad is exactly that. It's a tactical first-person shooter where you play as a member of the Cruelty Squad, essentially doing the dirty work for a liquidation company, where apparently there's more to this game than meets the eye. To be honest, I probably wrote this off when it launched in early access due to the visuals alone, looking really rough and cobbled together, and while I would say that in 99% of the cases, when a game looks this bad, chances are that it's not great, but this appears to be the exception. Yes, visuals are not everything, but holy crap, does this look terrible. Probably not gonna pick this up myself, but people seem to like it, so do your own research for this, and if you're one of the people that do love it, let me know why in the comments below. An interesting co-op simulator is PULSAR Lost Colony, one that launched out of early access and has you essentially playing Star Trek. Players take up the role of different specializations, including captain, scientist, engineer and so forth, having to man the various stations that run the ship. Rerouting the power is essential when you're under attack, almost akin to FTL Faster Than Light but in first person, where there are missions to go on, abandoned space stations to explore and so forth. This launched out of early access, having garnered a sizable community in the process, where there's an optional VR mode if you choose to play it in that way, but it does seem like a great time with friends.
It's lovely weather today here, though a little storm might happen tomorrow. The local police department continues to investigate the case of a missing.
So the Hello Neighbor franchise is absolutely massive, having spin-offs like Secret Neighbor, the VR title Hello Puppets, and even books and an animated series, where the latest entry is Hello Engineer. In a similar manner to the earlier games, the creepy neighbor is stalking a bunch of kids, where this group has decided to enter an abandoned theme park to scavenge for parts in order to win the Staked Inventors contest. They got trapped and are locked within the compound and now have to work together to build vehicles in the sandbox builder. It's an interesting departure from the first-person asymmetric horror game that the franchise is known for, so it's neat to see the evolution, and perhaps most interestingly, it's currently a Stadia exclusive in early access. One of the best surprise releases back at the start of the month during the Indie Live Expo, if you can remember that, is Lost Epic, a 2D Souls-like action platformer that is very anime as well. Gorgeous art, an extensive upgrade tree, and even secondary systems like cooking and fishing round off the package, but this is a must-play for Souls-like fans. Early access is planned for 6 months to a year, with there currently being 2 out of 6 playable regions, so there's certainly more to come, but a great first step, taking the #1 spot. For my favourite indie games like Dark Souls, watch this video and I will see you after the jump.